This week we are stretching ourselves and our comfort zones and flying ourselves and our bikes 5,200 miles to Madeira, Portugal. Madeira is a picturesque island off the coast of Morocco, and not many people know this, but it's considered to be one of the best mountain biking destinations in Europe.
Let's do it!
So we're flying halfway around the world to test that theory. You're going to see our struggles getting to Madeira, the local food, culture, and of course pastries.
It kind of tastes like a marshmallow.
Unbelievable views, 5 days of mountain biking which includes sketchy chunk, gnarly cliffs, scary Madeira jumps, and even a little bit of flow.
And it's a dust bowl!
Not to mention how close we came to disaster, and even a few hard crashes. On this trip, we share the inside scoop as we explore the island, rate the trails and overall experience of the trip. You'll know exactly what it's like to be in Madeira.
There's a crash pad on the tree, so it's okay.
Join us on this adventure to see if Madeira really is Europe's best mountain bike destination.
Oh boy! Oh, that was wild!
20 to 30 minutes later, we had the bikes all packed up. This used to take us at least an hour, so we're getting better.
Here we go!
Our first flight was all upgrades and wonderful food, but on our second flight to Madeira, the pilot came on the intercom telling us we had to turn around because of fumes in the cockpit. This resulted in 2 hours on the plane, 2 hours on the plane on the runway, an hour on the bus, and then 3 hours waiting for our next flight. Finally, after more hours than I can count later, we were headed to Madeira, and boy was it beautiful. And after landing, we got even more good news.
Always a good sign when the bikes are here.
And things just kept getting better. We check into our Airbnb and check out this view.
So we thought we ordered an iced coffee, and look at all the whipped cream and ice cream that came with it.
I'm not upset.
It was a rough start to our trip, but after walking through downtown Funchal, things just kept getting better.
I got my first Portuguese pastel de nata.
What is it?
It's a custard tart.
Are you gonna try it?
I'm gonna try it. It's gonna be delicious. Joe would hate it.
What's the rating?
A 7. It kind of tastes like a marshmallow.
Oh.
We're for a 9-day bike trip with Radwall Madeira. We're super stoked. We've seen like epic stuff from here, and the trails look awesome. It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's an island. I mean, we already ate some delicious food today, and walking around town, it's a really cool vibe so far. So we're super stoked to share it with you.
Here we go.
On day one of the trip, we rode our bikes down the street to meet the guiding company, Radwall Madeira, and the shuttle. Also, this is crazy, we got to meet up with Jeremy from Sensitive Strength, who I've only met online up until this point, but he showed up for a mountain bike trip. Awesome. Getting started out, we're hitting a couple of blue trails to get ourselves warmed up, but these trails also included some really fun hits, amazing scenery, and they're totally going to get us ready for what we have coming next. Alright, first ride in Madeira. This is some amazing single track. The dirt today is just perfect, super grippy around these corners, and I didn't get to see it much, but it looks like the views are super fantastic. Not to mention the lush green foliage that we see here. Just amazing. Woo. Emily's getting hoppy. These trails are so fun, so many jumps to hit. Just have to watch out for the Madeira trail ice. The locals tell us that when it rains, the dirt around here gets slippery as ice, and we'll soon find out exactly what that's all about. Ooh, I feel like I'm a little bit not used to riding. Bike feels a little weird. Got a lot of riding coming up. Madeira is a very interesting island with varying mountain bike terrain. Today we'll be sticking to the west side of the island, but over the trip we'll be hitting it all up, including the even more technical east side of the island. Woo! Getting back to day one, this green and red and this wall looks oddly familiar.
I feel like I remember this from Sid Mackey's video, maybe.
Sid and Mackie have a YouTube channel that's definitely worth checking out, and they were a motivation for us coming to Madeira. So thank you, Sid and Mackie, and hopefully this video will help motivate you to come here as well. Just look at how awesome this terrain is. Hey! Yeah! Shaking the line less traveled, huh? This is the point of the first day where you're having tons of fun, the trails are super fun, pushing it harder than you probably should, and you're wondering if that's a good idea or not. Woo! Nothing like some blind booters. Yep. Oh, these trails are just so fast, flowy, and even full of some crazy roots at times. Just rattle my brains out. But if you look at the foliage, it does look like it would be quite soft if you had to fall into it. Wrapping up the first trail was 3.2 miles, 24 minutes. Not too hard, but exceptionally fun. Next, we hop into the van, getting ready for trail number 2, where the intensity level is about to go up. Lap 2 brings us some big jumps, some tunnel riding with tons of rocks, and beautiful greenery flow. Plus, a stumble or two. Woo! Woo! We stopped at the top of the hill to discuss the first big jump of the day. Can I go back up real quick?
I want to see a big whip.
Yeah. I wasn't happy with the first few cases, so I went back up the hill to redeem myself. I got this. Feel a little short. Gotta love the GoPro effect, or in this case the Insta360 effect. That was actually a pretty darn big jump. 2 of them, in fact. You've really got to come to Madeira to see what these trails are like for yourself. And trust me, it's worth it. These tunnels in Madeira are so amazing to ride through. It's like the gods created these mountain bike tunnels just for you to fly through. But I gotta say, at this point, we were starting to feel that fatigue of the 8-hour time difference. Oof.
Definitely had a little bit of a hard time sleeping last night. Kept waking up and then having a hard time going back to sleep. So still adjusting to dramatic time difference.
If you want to master adventure travel, you have to overcome jet lag fast. There's 2 things you have to do. Number 1, eat in the time zone that you're going to be in as soon as possible. Number 2, work out hard as soon as you get to your new location. So that's exactly what we did. Now, back to the ride.
Whoa.
Good?
Well, I somehow made it through that.
On these trips, something that is awesome and a little scary sometimes is you get to ride with riders that you don't know. In this case, the rider in front of me is from California, and he is an absolute ripper, as well as the guys in front of him. So I'm trying my best to keep up and push hard, and sometimes that doesn't always lead to the best results. Woo! From here we headed into a super flowy and fun section with a ton of sniper rocks. Watch your head. Yeah, kicking up some rocks at me. Woo! This whole section was about trying to keep up your flow over the rocks and not look up at the views. Yeah. Nice riding.
Ooh, bad line.
On a trip like this with technical terrain, the bike that you bring or rent can really make or break the experience. Emily and I are currently riding two different bikes. I'm riding a Revel Rail 29 that has 170 millimeters of travel on the fork and 155 at the shock or in the rear. Emily is riding an Evil Reckoning that has 170 millimeter fork in the front, and I believe it's a 166 in the rear on her coil shock. We love chatting about bikes, so if you have any questions about why we're riding these bikes or what bikes we're looking at next, hit us up in the comments. We'd love to chat. Also, for 65 euros, Radwall Madeira offers rental bikes that includes pads, and you could get a full face helmet for an extra 10 euros. And let me tell you, Jeremy is very glad that they included all those pads.
Woo! Rider down. You just like wanted to sit on that ledge, huh? Poor Brock.
Yeah. As you might have noticed, the terrain or dirt is getting more and more dry as the day goes on, which means more and more loose, which also means less traction. So that might come up to bite me here shortly. We'll just have to wait and see. About halfway through this trail, we hit this really cool section with tall walls, and once you got used to it, you could push into these walls and keep your speed up really fast. It was something that was awesome and one of my favorite parts about this whole trail. Woo! Ho-ho! From the tall walls, we were shot out onto this ridge, which while you're riding, all you really see is the greenery on each side. But when you're looking at the video, you can tell that there are drop-offs right after the greenery. Still warming up, though. I don't want to push it too much today.
No, I'm not going to. I feel like I'm going to hit my head on these trees. Woo! That's cool. Very roller coastery.
Also means I remind myself to keep breathing. So. That double that we're talking about. Oh, kind of saw a root out of my peripheral. Caught it. Lots of close calls coming in. Lots of close calls. Yeah.
Try to do better here. On the wall. Very fun. Woo. Super swoopy. And playful. If I could relax a little bit. Oh God.
Let him go too far because I was trying to turn on this camera. It's not quite as intuitive to turn off, actually. The on is easy, it's one button press on. But the off doesn't want to turn off all the time. So that's a little bit weird. The way that the dirt was loosening up here due to the baking sun was making things a little bit unexpected, including some of these crazy turns and jumps. So that was the jump. I didn't really see it until the last minute. Woo!
Nice one.
Yeah.
Did the up jump?
I did. I didn't see it until the last minute and just popped over it, so it's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I jumped too far.
Lap 2 was 3.1 miles. The difficulty went up slightly and the fun also went up with it. What a flowy, awesome trail to ride. Lap 3 is just a blue trail, but it starts off super chunky and leads to one of the worst crashes of the day. The start of this trail is about to test our skills as Jeremy almost rides off a cliff. Nice save. Watching Jeremy nearly ride off a cliff didn't do much for our nerves, but thankfully we were able to make it through without dying. Right off the bat, getting thrown into the fire, this stuff is steep, chunky, and technical. Woo. Keep in mind, jet lag, feeling tired, multiple laps today. What could go wrong?
Oh man, this is so pretty. Hope you guys can see it.
Gotta say, I'm still kind of getting ready to getting used to this 170 up front, feeling the difference in the fork. What I'm feeling with the increased fork length is a little bit more slack in the front end and a little bit less responsive in the turning. It's possible that getting used to this new fork length could have led to the biggest crash of the day. A little drop there, that's cool. I didn't know it, but the long day on the bike, the jet lag, and getting used to the new fork, it was all catching up to me, and I was about to be on the ground. The body movement. Oh, shit.
Whoa, rider down! Oh. What happened there?
I just washed out my front tire. Tire not straight. It's pretty close. It was bound to happen at some point. Fortunately, I only scraped up my forearm just a little bit and didn't hurt my elbow too badly. Although, after this trip, we definitely went and bought more body armor just to be safe. The best thing you can do after a crash is literally forget about it and get right back into the flow. Fun section. Ooh. Baby heads, doll heads, whatever. With these crazy rocks, I literally didn't have any other choice but to get back into the flow, otherwise I'd be down again. And look at that drop on the right side there. Freaking scary. Yep. Getting a little crazy through there. Woo! Just when we thought things couldn't get more intense, the trail added steep and dusty to its repertoire. I didn't even see this upcoming jump until I was on it, hitting it in the air. Close call incoming. What I'm feeling here is that I'm riding with some really good fast riders, and I do not want to be left in the dust, literally. So I'm pushing it maybe a little bit too hard, but these are the times where you either make it or break it. Dusty. Oh jeez. Got the dust. Yep, can't see what's coming.
You didn't like being completely blind on that?
I saw you unclip and I was like, oh shit. Tight corners here. Tight, steep. Not sure how much the dust is going to kick up again. And kind of off camber there too.
Ooh. Soft corner there.
Lap through is a lot of fun, despite the crash. Definitely more difficult with that chunk, and still so much fun. The next trail is full of amazing views, a lot of rock chunk that keeps us on our toes, and even some flow in this amazing Madeira dirt.
Woohoo! Getting right back into it after lunch. Oh. Uh-oh. Right there. Ooh. Ooh, some bouncy rock stuff back through there. That was chattery, huh?
Now we're into what we call the post-lunch re-warm-up phase, where we've cooled down, eaten too much food, and need to get back into it, and the terrain is gnarly.
Oh boy! Oh!
Really getting after it. Whew. Sending it down the steep and rocky.
Point it and hold on. Phew! Whew! That was wild! You saved it on that first bit. I saw your tire go sideways a little bit. You good?
That was a bit gnarly, eh?
Yeah. Well, slow, smooth.
Yeah.
Slow, smooth, man.
Emily was ripping down that. I'm like, man, she's going fast.
Very rocky section back there. That was wild. So fast. So bumpy. And now we're back into some a little bit more flowy, maybe. Or more rocks. I'll get better at my line choice over the next few days. Right now it's questionable at best. Woo-wee. Fun stuff though.
Oh man, this part coming up is gnarly. Some of the chunkiest stuff we've had all day. And here's the thing, this is the last lap of the day, but rule of thumb for mountain bikers is you never say it is the last lap. So you convince yourself that it's not the last lap, it's the second to the last lap, because bad things tend to happen on the last lap.
Dustful City!
Whew. Dusty. Ooh, when this dust picks up, it is nasty. All in my mouth. Can't see the lines. Whoa! Holy smokes. I feel like you could use a downhill bike on this. So many braking bumps. Hands are starting to feel it. Nice. And that'll do it for day one in Madeira. We've got many days to come, so make sure you hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Good morning. Day 2 of our Madeira bike tour. Finished up day 1 yesterday. Ran downtown to eat dinner. It was a super awesome first day. We crushed some miles, like 16 miles of just pure downhill. It was awesome and fun and dirty and sweaty. We're still not sleeping great.
I feel okay right now, but I'm sure it's gonna hit me later.
Today, you're told, is more technical and rocky and steep. So, excited to get back out and see, I guess, what they mean by more technical. Yeah, day 2, getting underway. Here we go.
This is one of the coolest things about our apartment. We have a separate locked storage room for the bikes.
Just did a quick brake pad swap.
This is the brake bed-in process right here. There's so much downhill on these trips that we go through 1 to 2 sets of brake pads every trip. Getting started on day 2 with Radwall Madeira, we are going to be starting off on a blue trail called Avalanche. It has tons of opportunity for fast, fun, flowy, and even to get a little squirrely. Today the trail conditions are prime, not too dry, not too wet, tons of grip all around, but that doesn't negate the fact that I still need to warm up.
All right, starting off day 2, legs are feeling a little tired. Grip is definitely a little tired as well. We're rewriting a couple of the trails we rode yesterday, so that is nice.
Rewriting trails is always cool, but sometimes you tend to push yourself a little bit too hard when you think you know what's coming up.
Whoop. Day 2, rein it in a little bit, Emily. First lap.
Oh. On trips like this, which are not private, you get mixed and matched with other advanced riders from around the world who tend to show up for these types of mountain bike adventures. Today we're riding with 2 riders from Whistler, BC, one of which who used to be a pro downhill racer, which is not good for you when you try and keep up with people that you're riding with, and it can tend to push you a little bit further than you probably should be pushed. Oh.
This area they call toboggan because it can be super slippery in the winter when it's wet. Right now it's pretty darn perfect. Lots of fun stuff to jump off of. You can go super fast, pretty decent braking bumps. Woo! So fun.
Ooh, this trail is fast and fun, but it is bumpy. Braking bumps. Woo!
He referred to these braking bumps as small for him. There's not too much small about them.
When riding a trail like this, we're trying to pick the best line, but there's so many bumps here. And because of all these bumps, you have to manage how hard you're holding onto the bars. You don't want to hold on too hard because you get too much arm pumping. You don't want to hold on too little because your hands can literally fly off the bars. Need to keep it chill and not try and keep up. I think that's the strategy today. It's these trail conditions that make us very thankful for our 160, 170 millimeter enduro mountain bikes.
Trying to release the grip a little bit when I can.
So many braking bumps. When you're flying through this forest, all you're thinking about is holding onto the bike. But wow, is this pretty. I just don't get to appreciate it as much when I'm riding as I do when I'm editing.
All right, we're coming up to the gap jump on the right. You!
Holy smokes, I'm just trying to hold on. This trail is gnarly.
Couple loose sections here, if I remember right. Dusty!
Just feeling like we were getting thrown into the gnar on day 2. Trying to not fly off the trail. Coming up to the halfway point in the trail and time for a quick break.
Did you do it? Nice!
The second half of this trail is fast and loaded with drops.
Woo! Oh, I remember that. Okay. Very rollable. Woo. Through the roots. And this one, you!
I didn't even realize those were drops.
It's so fun here when they have it all set up to drop and hop and clear stuff like rocks and roots. I was imagining like a big drop.
Our guide just gave us a quick warning about the jump coming up.
Don't go flying over the handlebars. I don't remember this one either.
Lap 1 in the books, 3.2 miles, 1,900 feet of descending. The difficulty was 7 out of 10 because of the braking bumps, and this one was pretty fun at 8 out of 10. Next up, we're going to start off with a blue and then drop into a red trail called the Red Line, which has tons of gap jumps, roots, and all kinds of gnarly features that are going to keep us on our toes for the whole lap.
Ooh, up in the clouds. Look at that. Cruising down the road to the next trail, lap number 2 for the day. Ooh, this is cool. Ah! Ready? 1 meter jump. Can't see it, but it's there.
This fog is intense, and we've got some jumps and technical rock sections coming up. Can't see too much. Ooh, a little slippery there. Oh, that was cool. 1 meter jump over the bush. Very nice.
That was cool. This reminds me of riding in Ecuador.
This is some crazy ridge riding that you can't really tell because we're in the clouds, but it drops off on both sides and we're just riding up on the top.
In the clouds, in the ruts, a little bit of a cow track here. Totally reminiscent of Ecuador. Whew. Mud flinging off my tires, maybe some poop.
This rock section is actually really gnarly. The Red Line Trail starts off very fast with a couple of sketchy gap jumps. There's a 2 meter gap jump right up here.
This is a journey into sound.
Now we're getting into the fast, rooty, tight, turny section of this trail. In these sections, I'm really trying to lean my bike over into the corners rather than turn the bars. Whew! When you're doing it just right, you feel the pressure on your inside hand and your outside foot.
So this is a new trail, we haven't done this one. So it's a new jump, just hit it blind, but pretty chill. Our guide Diogo's really good about stopping and telling us what's up ahead and if we need to look at it. Always helpful. When you're in a new place, you're trying to not hurt yourself.
Ooh. Ooh, a little slidey. Oh, this is awesome. It's super fun. Whew. That is soft. Very glad that I changed my rear brake pads. Now I'm feeling very nice. Ooh, yeah. This is what we call chunky flow. It can be so fun if you're just able to relax your body a little bit and not grip everything too tight. The trail through this section looks super smooth, but there's tons of sniper roots and rocks that you gotta watch out for. Make sure you hold on to those bars.
This is a long one. Definitely feeling yesterday.
Jump. There is one road gap over there.
That was so fun.
We're coming up to the last part of the Red Line Trail, which includes a road gap and some fast, fun, flowy turns.
Woo!
No road gap for me. Honestly, my bike doesn't feel all that confidence inspiring. And a little bit big for vacation. Oh, again? The guy you just saw on the side of the trail, Tomas, had his chain fall off that bike several times during this ride. It was getting insane.
Pedal, pedal. Oh, this is cool. Cool forest. Woo!
Now I'm riding behind our guide, Diogo from Radwal, Madeira. He was absolutely outstanding and made this trip awesome. Not to mention he's an absolute ripper on the bike. Really fast.
Jump.
This is me trying to keep up with Diogo and watching him pull away. That was really fun.
Woo!
Nice one.
Oh, that was really fun. Phew.
Had a little accident off the trail. Tomas was staring at the water canal and accidentally rode right off the trail. Could have happened to any of us. Madeira is known for its canals or lavadas, which are a network of open irrigation channels that were built in the 16th century to move water from north to south on the island. The word lavada comes from a Portuguese verb lavar, which means to carry. Wrapping up lap 2 was 5.2 miles, 2,100 feet of descending, a difficulty of only 5 out of 10, and fun of 8 out of 10. You could really push yourself as hard as you wanted. Next up, we are riding a black trail, which is one of the chunkiest trails we've ever ridden.
Good picture, huh? It was like sliding sideways when he took a picture. Here we go! Cow Poop City!
This tunnel section was one of my favorite of the whole trip to Madeira. It was super chunky, had your adrenaline just flying, and had you holding on to not fall off your bike for the whole tunnel ride.
We were told this trail is rocks, 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 rocks.
Apparently is a very, rocky trail. And we can see that already.
Cows, hello cows.
I know that you can see that this is bumpy and super rocky, but it's also quite slippery. There's just a little bit of moisture on these rocks, and it makes them that much sketchier.
to avoid that branch.
Woo! This is very rocky.
Woo!
Did I mention how much fun this is?
Super cool.
Even though this is incredibly hard and demanding, I could re-ride this all day long looking for new lines.
Woo! My feet came off. It was a mess.
A bit softer now.
Okay.
We made it through the super chunky part. Now we have awesome walls with even more flow coming at us.
You can go there, but be really
Careful. Okay, thank you.
Really careful.
Obrigado.
See ya.
Bye.
Let's go, guys.
Let's go. Watch out for trail runners.
That trail runner decided it was a good idea to run up a mountain bike downhill specific trail.
This is so cool. You're like in these walls.
There's a crazy amount of diversity on these trails here in Madeira. We just came from a super chunky rally your brains out section and are now dropping into this slightly chunky, super flowy section that you're just trying to pick up speed on. It's awesome.
Kind of reminds me of one of the trails I rode yesterday. Whew. Oh, some pretty flowers. Highline. Whew. You guys are flying up there.
At this point, flying really could be a good thing or a bad thing. Again, here I am trying to keep up with the guys from Whistler. This could be a recipe for disaster.
Dust City.
Bugger, some dirt or something. Closing up this part of the trail, things are about to change drastically. Can you believe we were just in this rocky stuff?
A little dustier there. Yeah.
Close the gate.
Close the gate.
Now we're headed into a fast, dry, rooty section with a lot of these little jumper kicker things that are fun to pop off of, but you gotta be careful because there could be an obstacle right after them. I almost forgot about the super steep rock chunky sections that lead into drops. Super fun, but also quite scary. On these trips, we are riding almost all of these trails blind, which means that we have never ridden them before and we really don't know what's coming up.
Oh, it's so good.
Because we've never ridden these trails before, it is very nice to have these 170mm enduro bikes that can just charge through things when we make mistakes. This trail is super chunky, and I actually love these kind of trails because you're trying to find flow through the chunk the whole time. It can be really fun and kind of like a puzzle to try and figure it out. Again, such a contrast from where we were just a few minutes earlier. If you like flow trails, these trails in Madeira just provide. It is so good, so much flow, so many jumps to hit. It's awesome. If you're ever looking to do one of these trips, one of the coolest things, if not the coolest, is that you're riding so much in so few days that you absolutely up your skill level in the 5-day or 6-day period that you're riding your bikes. It is outstanding.
Oh!
Whew. Now we're back into some of the classic Madeira flow with the sweepy turns and the nice fun jumps that we can pop off of. Here I'm starting to feel a little bit fatigued, and this is when you really need to pay attention and be careful and maybe not push it quite so hard. Here I'm reaching a tiredness stage where I'm actually riding pretty good, but the mistakes are kind of starting to pile up. Lap 3 in the books, only 2.2 miles with 1,700 feet of descending, but difficulty of an 8.10 with that super chunky section and super fun. Then we were headed to lunch to fill up on some calories. Maybe not so great calories, but it got us ready for this next black trail that we were headed down on lap 4.
I'll try and roll behind you.
Lap 4 has us dropping right into more of these tunnel gully things that Madeira is so well known for. These are awesome, super fun, but also really hard to ride because you have to pick your lines just right. Otherwise, you could go down super easily.
Ooh, dusty. Holy. Let's slow down a little bit so I can see.
The changing trail conditions can be fun, but they can also be quite dangerous because you have to adapt so fast. Side hilling like this with this drop off on the right is literally one of the scariest things for me when mountain biking. I would rather go down something super steep than ride next to this.
The roller coaster trail.
It's like they did some trail work out here since we were out here yesterday, getting ready for the race maybe. We're doing the Trans-Madeira multi-day stage race in a couple weeks, I think. Yay! So fun. It's like a roller coaster. It's just swoopy.
I'll watch out for the trees.
That might sound funny, but I do have a tendency to catch a tree every now and then.
So dusty!
It's really amazing how fast these trail conditions can change here. You can go from riding in super awesome or even wet and then get into dusty just by riding further down in elevation or just later on in the day.
Oy, so dusty! Can't see!
There's a trick to riding in dusty conditions. You have to be very close to the person in front of you, which I'm trying to do, and not really succeeding. This section is super fast, super fun, and very flowy, as you can see, and it makes it pretty dangerous because I'm trying to go so fast and catch up with the rider in front of me to keep the dust down, which is about to lead to disaster for our guide.
Oh, are you okay?
What happened?
Oh.
Luckily, Diogo's alright, but he took a handlebar right to the gut during this crash. And then I almost went down. Not great when we've got a sketchy gap jump coming up.
That's where I went off the trail yesterday. Right into that tree. I did not do that yesterday. That was definitely not the jump I thought it was. Happy that I had enough speed to clear that.
Woo! Wow. You sent it way to flat.
I'm like, do I have enough speed? I'm like,
That was not the jump I thought it was. I did not do that one yesterday.
Lap 4, 1.8 miles, 1,500 feet of descent, 8 out of 10. Difficulty because of the dust, and also very fun at 7 out of 10. Next up and last lap of the day, we have 2 red trails, which is in between a blue and a black, where we'll do our best to avoid any falls or injuries. Time to get the muscles looped up quick for this last lap of the day. It's coming in hot.
A little bit hard to see out here.
Where the last trail ended up super dusty, we're back up in the clouds with the perfect dirt. But sometimes that can lead to a little bit too much confidence.
And it's a dust bowl! I don't have enough speed!
I find this weird occurrence at this point in the day where, because I'm getting tired, I can actually relax and ride faster, but sometimes it backfires.
Yeah.
These trails are definitely not letting up on their difficulty. They just keep throwing it at us with these ruts, with these rocks, with this dust, with these turns.
Who doesn't have much skills, go check the jump, guys.
Should I come in this way? Yeah. Let's go. Woo!
I think I cased that jump a little bit, but not too bad. And it's a dust bowl! Where does the trail go? Yoo-hoo! That stuff is fun.
When that dust kicks up, it is just impossible to see.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh, you guys, these trails are so much fun. Like, smile on your face. What a great way to spend a vacation. If you need a good mountain bike trip, this should definitely be on your radar. It is so cool. Really cool vibe on the island, and the trails are awesome. People are nice. It's super easy to navigate.
Oh, flat.
Flat! Had 3 flat tires today. Not me, but 2 riders in our group. I've had a total of 3 flat tires. I just put 3 tubes in. It's been quite an ordeal. Ah! Woo! I feel like I lost a little of my after lunch mojo I had going on there. I was feeling pretty good. I feel a little sluggish now. Ooh. Ooh. You. So fun. Oh, I wish I could do a little bit.
You might think, oh, this dust doesn't look too bad, but any little piece of the trail that you can't see can easily result in a crash. It's amazing how precise we have to be constantly when we're trying to ride fast. This is where I start to feel those last lap vibes and knowing that I shouldn't push too hard because it is the last lap and we still have many days left to ride, but it's so fun. This section is scary fast with these drops that just come up on you, and in this dust you can hardly see them until you're right on top of them.
I don't have enough speed! Ew!
Tomas's chain is down again. Maybe like the 10th time of the trip. Who's counting?
So much dust!
We've been promised some amazing ocean views and we just have a little bit further to go.
Woo! That was fun.
Dude, nice!
That was so fun. To the lighthouse. We're going to the lighthouse. You better look cool because I'm filming you. Woo! Choo choo choo! Woo!
My headset is just like super creaky.
Oh, mine too, yeah.
That'll do it for today's ride. What an amazing day. In our next ride, we'll be headed off to some super tight turns, some of the best views we've ever seen while on a mountain bike, and we'll continue sampling the local cuisine.
I might vomit up my Portuguese steak.
If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. Today we are going to be tackling 5 of Madeira's prettiest and steepest rides over on the east side of the island.
All right, we are about to start day 3.
Stomach's still feeling, it's undecided, be good or bad. Look out! It's pretty. Look how pretty it is.
Look at that. Here we go.
Yep.
The first ride of the day is going to start off with a 6-mile climb, which is the longest climb we've done the whole time, then drop us into some of the steepest switchbacks we've seen on the trip so far. All right, here we go. After some climbing, first climbs of the day.
Okay, we just pedaled up for 6 miles, which was a good warm-up. I don't really feel my tired legs from the past couple days of riding.
They put these railings up there for a reason. Right off the bat, we're getting dropped into some gnarliness. These turns are legit.
Phew! Whew, seriously steep corners. Looks like somebody in the group went off the edge there.
Man, I wish I was better at nose pivots. Try and get high on the corner if you can.
A rough trail to have your first day on.
There are a few people on this trip that are starting their first day on this trail. No, thank you. I'd be freaked out.
See the ocean over there.
Oh.
Woo! Oh, those are seriously steep corners, huh?
Very steep corners. And now that we're done with the steep corners, we're going to drop into this loose, chunky, highly technical part of the trail. Nice. Fun stuff, though.
Haha! Woo! This would be wild in the wet. Holy moly. Wild in the dry.
Line choice here was critical, and as you can see, there is some exposure on both sides. When the guide asks you if you want to hike up for an Instagram shot, you say yes. I mean, check this out. The exposure is insane. And in case you're wondering, heck yeah, I was scared.
Should be a little less steep now, we're told. A little softer, cool views at that viewpoint.
Ooh, dust all of a sudden. It was so good, like 2 turns ago. It is amazing how fast the conditions can change on this island. 1 minute you have great traction, 1 minute you have none. Phew! Burnt out lines here, local lines, if you will. Oh, got my butt with the tire right there. Oh, have I mentioned how side hilling is one of the scariest parts of mountain biking for me? There's some super fun trails. Sometimes I'll say that out loud just to convince myself that I'm not scared. Oh yeah.
Phew. Feeling pretty good today. The pedal up felt harder than it probably should have. My body and my mind feel pretty good right now. This is our 3rd day of riding. We've been doing big days, 17, 18 miles back to back. So tomorrow will be our first rest day. We'll be ready for it. I'm gonna do some lounging.
Again, it's hard to see, but there's a sketchy drop on the right side here. A little loose. A little bit of a drop. Oh, this is so cool. Check these roots.
Very different style of riding over here than the past 2 days. Much more raw, I guess.
And just like that, I can relax. No more drop off.
Holy, look at that view. It's so cool. I mean, look at this. What a cool place to bike.
The scariest part of the trail is done. Now we're into some blue flow, followed by a little bit of urban downhill.
Ugh.
It is always nice to have a break from the super scary, chunky drop-off stuff, but when you get into blue trails like this, you can push yourself as fast as you want to go, and that definitely brings up the scary factor. This trail looks smooth, but there was a ton of roots and rocks that were snipers. They were rim dingers. Not to mention, it's pretty loose as well. I almost lost it right off the trail here. Whew! Good thing I didn't pull too much front on that. What's happening is I'm getting super confident because it doesn't feel like there's much exposure, so I'm trying to push myself harder and ride faster, and that is potentially causing a few mistakes.
There was one part that I think I tapped my rim even with cush core.
Does he need a tube? I have a tube!
We didn't make it out unscathed. The Sniper Rock took out Thomas's rear tire, but after about 20 minutes, we had the tire up and rolling again. Now, this is really the kind of smooth, fun, flowy trail that you'd like to warm up on, but today wasn't that day. So we started with the gnarly stuff, and now we're getting to do the nice, smooth, warm-up style trail. Hopefully that will set us up well for the crazy that's about to come. Holy and the trail plopped us right out into this neighborhood, so we had to do a little bit of urban riding to get down to where the van could access us so we could get a shuttle up to lunch and eventually our next trail. Ride number 1 was 9.3 miles, including the climbing, a descent of 1,700 feet, difficulty of 9 out of 10 due to those steep turns, fun out of 7 out of 10, and a 10 out of 10 for views. Ride 2 has our stomachs about to burst. And luckily we're getting started off on a nice flowy blue trail with some jumps, rocks, and sweepy turns.
Yay, bicycling.
Pretty flower. All right, back on the bikes after a delicious lunch of Portuguese steak. This trail is a blue trail.
A blue trail with some real nice cut and flow.
The environment has changed so much. I mean, you guys can see how open it is now. And just no vegetation. It's pretty crazy compared to what we've been riding in.
There's tons of flow to be had in this wide open Madeira trail, but it has you really thankful for having grippy, knobby tires, because when you push into these flat corners, it's hard to get grip, and you gotta lean your bike and push that bike down into these loose dirt corners.
Woohoo! Fun and fast.
Oh, steak. Nothing like digesting steak. Riding bikes. Whew. Apparently they did the Enduro World Series here, I believe. On this trail is what they said. Oh, there's a jump. Didn't have enough speed.
Something that you're not going to get a lot of in Madeira is these big sculpted jumps. Now you will get jumps, you will get kickers, you will get a few road gaps, but it's not like they're coming at you a lot so that you're going to get better and used to them.
Rocks, lots of rocks, lots of loose rocks.
Oy. Wait, vomit up my Portuguese steak.
If you're looking for nutrition tips, carbs are always going to be a better source for fueling your mountain biking. But when you're in Portugal, you eat the Portuguese steak and eggs.
Oh, I'm gonna throw up my lunch. Oh my God. Ooh. Go, go, go!
Don't get me wrong, I'm having fun here, but for some reason this trail feels extra narrow and I'm having a hard time keeping the tires on the dirt.
Whenever I stop, I get kind of like my body turns into a rest and digest phase.
I mean, I sound surprised, but you saw the steak I ate.
Yoo-hoo!
Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to get warmed up after lunch. You feel like you've been riding already for multiple hours, but you don't realize that the lunch slows you down quite a bit and you need to get warmed up all over again. I think this trail turned out to be exactly what the doctor ordered. The guides know what they're doing. It was smooth, it was flowy, it was getting us warmed up, it was getting us ready to drop into the next section. And man, look at how pretty this is. You just can't beat it. Wrapping up lap 2, we had 2.7 miles, 1,100 feet of descending, a difficulty of only 4, and a fun of 5 due to all that steak. For ride 3, we are tackling a blue trail, but don't get discouraged. This thing is full of roots and rocks and gnar all over the place. When they say blue, you dive in head first, going fast, but look at this. It is full of super slippery stuff. The dirt is loose, the roots are all over the place, and there's even a few jumps right here to get us going. Right into some sweepy turns that are fast, flowy if you can keep up with the suspension and the bumps. I feel like I was getting in over my head, maybe not as warmed up as I thought I was. Doesn't help these guys we're riding with are rippers, and they are taking off.
Something that I'm noticing as we ride with these guys who are ex-racers and super good riders is that I want to learn how to move my bike better through the corners. Watching them is really fun. They do it super well, and it makes me think I want to do it like that.
Here I am riding as fast as I can on the straight and then braking hard in the corner, slowing way down too much, and then trying to re-accelerate again. Another really cool levada on the left, which you may have seen in our last video. Here we're churning through the rocks right before we get to the halfway point, and a really cool drop coming up.
That was super fun, yeah.
Here we go. Woo! It may not look like it, but that was about a 4 to 5 foot drop right into some chunky, rocky gnar.
Drop to rocks. And roots.
Woo! You know, this trail is kind of flowy, but there are so many rocks. You probably can't really see them here, but it is a very bumpy flow that we're riding through. Trying to keep up our speed and really happy with the amount of suspension that we have that just makes this feel a lot more cushy than it would otherwise.
It kind of reminds me of Pacific Northwest.
Woo, that was fun.
Finishing up Ride 3 was only 1 mile, 500 feet of descending, a difficulty of 6 because of all the chunkiness, and a fun of 7 out of 10. Ride 4 has us getting into some of the hardest riding of the whole day, including some crazy route sections. Holy! And the first crash of the day. We talked about earlier how there are not a lot of big jumps in Madeira, or at least they're not taking us there, but you will get super good at flat corners, riding over super chunky rock, and if you have a big enduro bike and you're planning on coming here, I would bring that with you.
You! That's fun.
This is an area where you can picnic or camp, and it's amazing how many people are actually out doing that. This is the tree dodging section of the ride. Now we're cruising on a little connector park road ride, which will get us to the next part of the trail. Next up is the red trail for Estradas. Red is in between blue and black, so we're stepping it up. And this trail is a little bit faster, a few more drops, more chunk, more trees to dodge, all that kind of fun stuff.
Keep looking at it. Where I want to go.
A pro tip for mountain biking is to look where you want to go. So always looking ahead, and your body and bike will most of the time follow you, and you'll be in a better position if you can do that.
Yoo-hoo!
In this section, I am just getting beat up by these turns and braking bumps. Just holding on. Phew! Now we're on to the gnarliest part of the trail. Here we go.
'Tis the only way. We must go down.
Oh.
This trail is called New York. Apparently, there's a fair amount of roots.
To say this trail has a fair amount of roots is an understatement. We ride in the Pacific Northwest, which is full of roots, and this has more roots than the Pacific Northwest by far. It's crazy.
Roots!
Ooh. Ooh. Save that one and to put a foot down there.
When navigating through roots, you want to try and hit them at a perpendicular angle. That will allow you to go right over them without any problem, but with this many roots, it's almost impossible.
And my feet are not right on the pedals. Got them. Jeez. Front tire slippage.
Here we have a little reprieve from the roots, but don't worry, we're gonna get right back into it right now. Not to mention, we're gonna mix the roots with some steep, tight turns. As you can see, it's hard to stay on the trail here. This actually might be my favorite part of the whole day. Trying to find flow in these roots is like trying to do math problems as fast as you can and hope that you don't screw them up because you don't get a second chance.
Holy roots. And my foot's still on the pedal. Whew.
Gotta shake out the arms and hands after that one.
Cruising between trails in the park. So pretty.
Time to dip into the last part of Ride 4. It's a green, but I'm not sure who's rating these trails because they all seem really hard to me. I think when it comes to creating a really great trail system, the greens all the way up to the double blacks can be really fun trails for any level of rider. In this case, we have a green trail that you can push really hard and look for little side hits and just have a ton of fun, even though it's not the gnarliest trail out there.
Just trying to keep up with all these fast boys.
I'm also trying to keep up with all these fast boys, and it's probably going to lead to disaster.
I'm good.
We determined that I found a little bit of Madeira ice on that turn, and probably just ran out of talent trying to keep up with these fast riders. Didn't hit my head too hard, ready to go. We've got a lot more fun trail up ahead, so I've got to get my head right.
Beekeepers and beehives.
We're coming up to the last part of this lap, but it has some of the chunkiest rock that we've seen on the whole trail. Still a green though. Nothing like some doll head sized rocks leading through some windy corners. Makes it spicy.
These are slippery.
As you can see, the environment just changed again. We've got all these slippery leaves, drops, and we've got a pretty sketchy jump coming up here. Phew! That jump almost had me heading off the trail, and now you may not be able to tell, but these branches and leaves are actually smacking my hands as I'm riding down the trail. Wrapping up Ride 4, we had 4.5 miles, 1,900 feet of descending, difficulty of 8 out of 10, and fun out of 9 out of 10, both because of the routes. Next up, Ride 5, the last ride of the day, Blue Trail with the biggest drop we've seen yet. And a spicy optional red ending.
Okay, last trail of the day, hole in one, underneath the golf course, or near the golf course. That was a little steep kicker there. So the first part of this trail is like, a bike park with some optional jumps. That was cool.
And the loose dirt and slippery leaves continue for this last trail.
Oh, jeez. Dusty, rooty, slippy.
A little more dust over here. And that. See.
These bike parky jumps and drops sure are fun. You just have to control your speed into the corners.
I think I'm tired, guys. Phew. We're already at like 18 miles for the day. 6 of those today were climbing.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh.
I should be sufficiently ready for our rest day tomorrow. And some good food, good coffee.
But for now, we have to finish up this trail and try to not fly off the edge.
Phew. That's cool.
A little break before we tackle the last of this blue and the biggest drop of the day.
Breaking bumps on a favorite. Wasn't sure where that trail was gonna go.
Oh, there's a jump
This drop didn't look big, but it felt huge. The farther you sent it, the bigger it was. Check out this compression. I bottomed out and rattled my bones on that drop. It's always nice to be able to look at a drop like that and then just hit it without having to think about it too much. And afterwards you were like, wow, that was a pretty big drop. So now we're into some smooth, flowy sections here, which is perfect for a few action shots. The dirt is a little bit more predictable than it was above, but still quite slippery. So as we're trying to push our speed into these corners through the braking bumps, you still have to be aware that the dirt may or may not grip as much as you want it to.
Continue.
Okay, we gotta ride the rest of hole-in-one. Supposed to be a little bit more technical with some more tight corners, possibly loose.
And we get to keep on going.
We keep referencing getting to continue because the rest of the group actually dropped off and headed to the van. This part of the trail is supposed to be quite a bit more gnarly than it was up above. It is only rated a red, but it's probably a black in most other places in the world.
Oh, such a cool view though. Hopefully you guys can see it now, looking out onto the ocean.
We've got some super gnarly jank coming up here, some tight turns, and as I can see here, there's some amazing views. Let me tell you, we didn't see any of those while we were riding. Also, this is the last trail for the day, and we actually talked about that as a group, which is never a good thing. So all of us were talking about how we were trying to keep it dialed down because you never want to push too hard on the last trail of the day. That's when bad things happen. Oh man, this is so janky here, and you're not even understanding because of the GoPro effect. It's steep, it's rocky, there are tons of things trying to grab your pedals and bottom bracket, and there's also that amazing view. This rocky section coming up is so janky and weird. You can ride it, but being the last trail of the day, we decided it just wasn't worth it.
Alright, back on C-bike.
That was actually my bottom bracket bash guard. Thank goodness I put one of those on. Could have bent the chainring otherwise. Hit it really hard.
Whew, I made my money up on my bash guard right there.
Okay, good.
I hit it hard.
Finish of this trail is actually like a beautiful ending to the day. It was super flowy, not too hard, and you could get a glimpse of the view off to the left as you were riding without feeling like you were going to fly off the trail. What an amazing ride. Alright, wrapping up the last ride of the day. Ride 5 was 1.3 miles, 1,500 feet of descending, difficulty of 8 out of 10 because of the drops and the part we had to walk, and a fun out of 8 out of 10 because you could push this one as hard as you wanted. That's it for today. We are off to a rest day before we will see you guys again for day number 4, where we hit some brand new trails, find some Madeira ice,
Whew. Steep, slippery corner.
and even some really fun, cool, big jumps. Have a fantastic rest of your day. After what felt like the fastest rest day ever, we are off to ride 5 of Madeira's windiest and dustiest trails.
Oh God!
And just like that, day 4 of biking is underway. One of our favorite things is the first stop is usually to get some amazing European coffee. Then we are back in the car for an hour drive up to the northwestern point of the island for our first trail of the day. Today we're going to ride a variety of super fun trails, starting off with a nice easy warm-up and then getting into some of the more gnarly and dusty trails of the whole trip. At the start of every ride, we clean and lube our chains and make sure and check our tire pressure. The first trail of the day is a windy pump fest, which is going to challenge us to keep our speed up and bikes moving forward.
Here we go. If you'll notice, I'm the only one with a camera today because somewhere on the last ride, the lens popped off. for the X4, so Emily and I are going to be switching cameras today. This will be the 4th of 5 days here on Madeira in Portugal. Riding's been super cool so far. Oh, we might get some slippery Madeira ice today.
Just takes a little bit of moisture on this dirt to turn it into Madeira ice, and with these leaves on top, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Oh! Maybe a good thing I didn't hop over that.
These shadows can make it really hard to see the features on the trail.
Oh, hop turn, I saw it. Whew.
Because of the low grade of this trail, you have to pump and work really hard to keep your speed up without pedaling. And you don't want to pedal because it's really easy to hit your pedal on rocks and roots. The ride run warm-up was 2 miles, only 900 feet of descending, a difficulty of 5 out of 10, and only a fun out of 5 out of 10. Not enough steepness for us. But now we're going to step that up, getting into a red trail, which is going to bring us some steeper stuff with more rocks and roots.
All right, see if I can keep up with Joe to get some follow cam since we only have the one camera today. First lap was super fun, nice little warm up. Feeling pretty darn good today. Having a rest day was definitely welcome. Kind of had a chill day in the apartment. Ate some food, I walked like 7 miles. Trying to find replacement camera rooms through Insta. Went out for coffee while Joe worked. It was a really good day. So cool today. I feel like 9 days is not enough. There's a lot of cool places to explore and some really cool hikes.
Madeira is known for spectacular mountaintop hikes that have you going through caves and hanging out with the clouds.
This really cool tree tunnel. Woo!
Riding through these tree tunnels and gullies is definitely one of the most spectacular things about mountain biking in Madeira.
Woo! That was cool. Have a good day.
Although most of these trails are mountain bike only, you still have to watch out for hikers.
Buzzed my butt with my tire a little bit right there. Oh, falling behind. It's those corners that get me. Gotta get better at cornering. So we got one more day of riding after today. And then we got a few days off in Nice to chill. And then we head over to Molini for another guided trip. So super fun. Got so much riding in here. It's been super awesome. Ooh, this would have been a good place to have a better line choice.
Wow, these shadows are still making it super hard to see.
Woo! All right.
Feeling good?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Again, trying to generate speed by pumping and watch out for the trees.
Oh, Joe's trying to make me run into a tree because I had him run into that tree in Oaxaca. Payback. All right, steeper, rockier.
Things are just getting more intense from here.
Thank you. Woo. Wait, wait, wait.
Another super cool Madeira Levada. These things are all over the island. I know I keep saying it, but these trails are just so different from each other. The ecosystems and the types of trees and everything is just so unique.
Woo.
You'll see our next trail is just so different.
Mind your head. Woo, look at this cool section. It's like a tree tunnel and a little canyon. Super awesome. Woo.
Things just got steep and rocky.
Some cool little rock gardens thrown in. Woo. Steep slippery corner. Ooh, my arms are tired. Woo. Ready. Woo. A little up and over there. Woo. That is a Rocky Rudy section. Hard to find places to pedal in here. But our guide was telling us carry speed so you don't have to pedal. Woo!
Now we're starting to get pretty warmed up. Something tough about these trips is that there is not a lot of warm-up like we usually have when we're pedaling up a hill. You're pretty much driven up the hill and then expected to be warm right away and start headed downhill fast.
Sounds like it's gonna be another bumpy section.
And by bumps, she means roots. Everywhere.
Underlay. Whoop. Ooh. Yeah, you just jumped over everything. Woo! Ooh, pretty little stream there. Oop. Point corners. Hard to tell what's under some of these eucalyptus leaves.
It's definitely more roots, slippery roots. These are super sketchy, steep steps.
I just, I got another day to ride, so.
Ride 2 for the day was 3.6 miles, 1,600 feet of descending, a difficulty of 6 just because of the roots, and a fun also of 6. It was fun to pump, but not quite steep enough. Right through, headed back to the west side of the island, where the environment is going to change drastically, and we're going to tackle a couple really fast red and blues.
Just came to a new location. Sweet view.
Check this out, so much different than the last trail, and we're going to start off with some loose, fast, rocky tech right here, getting going now that we're warmed up. This is actually some pretty gnarly stuff.
Oh, there's the rock. Oh, I see. All right, so as you can see, the trail has changed a lot. We're on a different part of the island. It's very, very crazy how the trails are so different from area to area. Different terrain, different riding style. See, we got the dust now.
It's actually really cool how you have to adapt to these different types of terrain. I don't see any roots in sight. This rock and loose dirt, it really switches up how you have to ride. On this trip, we both brought our big enduro bikes with about 170 millimeters of travel, and we are loving it right now. Phew! Just finishing up the blue portion of the ride and headed over to the red, which is in between blue and black. A little bit more spicy.
Here we go.
Now I'm hooking up to ride behind Diogo, our guide, who, if you haven't seen on the last few videos, he is a super fast, fun, playful rider. Always fun to ride behind because you learn some new tricks. Not to mention, this trail is super fun and flowy with a little bit of tech, so you have to work your way through it. I love playing this game.
Seems like there might be more flow in here, but actually feels a lot like less flow. A lot more bumpy.
You can see here how we're pumping and moving our bikes, trying to find that flow and rhythm in this bumpy, rocky, loose dirt. As we're working our way down the trail on this side of the island, things are getting a little bit more dusty, and dusty means loose.
Nothing for you to worry, just slide through the corners.
Loose is cool, just takes a little bit different riding style.
Oh, woo! We found the dust.
Emily's showing off some flight skills.
She's got the pop. Popping and flowing, popping and flowing. Phew! A little off-camera-ness here. Keeping it fresh.
When the trail is loose and off camber, it can get super sketchy. You have to position your bike just right to find traction.
Yeah. All right, I'm entering Jeremy follow cam mode. Here we go. Gotta love the off-camber turns.
Woo! We're just getting pounded by the dust in here, especially following so close.
Woo-wee! Dusty!
Dirty.
That was the first time where I was like, oh, I feel it in my mouth.
Call this the dust cam. All right, we got some jumps coming up here. It's 2 little doubles in a row. We got Jeremy sending it first. Oh! That didn't work out well. Oh, you need more speed. Nice. Let's try this again. Whew! Whew! Yeah!
If you didn't see our first video, Jeremy flew all the way from South Africa to ride with us, and it is the first time that I've actually met him in person. So rad. Wrapping up the third ride, 3.3 miles, 1,500 feet of descending, difficulty of 7 out of 10 because of those gnarly rocks that we had in a few places, and super fun to try and pump and flow through that trail. After a short shuttle ride, we were on to ride 4. Ride 4 brings us back over to a black, which is called Insomnia, where the loose and dusty proves to be pretty darn gnarly. Insani is going to drop us into the gullies and chunk and flow like Madeira is truly known for.
All right, we're ready to eat Insomnia Trail. We just had lunch and some fish today with a grilled banana that was delicious. You can see we are back on the dusty side of the island. This section is super cool. It's like a flowy little roller coaster in here. Woo-hoo. Some softy corners though, slippery stuff. Woo. Woo. Oh God! Cannot see anything in those corners, holy moly.
This is a situation where you're just trying to figure out what the right distance is to follow behind, because if you get caught in one of these dust clouds, you are in trouble.
Woo.
Not to mention, this trail is really fast. It's not super steep, but it gets your momentum going really quickly.
Phew, I like this section. Got a bunch of fun little jumps. This is where it takes me every time. Yep, that's the one that takes me every time. You got a little extra boosty on that one. Oy. Whoop. Didn't even know there was a log right there.
That'll do it for ride 4. Only 2 miles in this one, but 1,300 feet of descending, a difficulty of 8 out of 10 because of the dust, and we're giving this one an 8 out of 10 fun factor because of the jumps and the flow. Ride 5 is going to be one of the prettiest rides of the day. We're riding the Formigia Trail, which is a blue and full of flow, chunk, and yep, we still have the dust.
I think we got last lap of the day. Unfortunately, Jeremy had a crash. His knee's not feeling super good, so he's sitting this one out. Hope he's okay to ride tomorrow. Get some Emily Cam here.
Whew. You would think during the last lap I'd be tired and not riding so well, but that seems to be the opposite for me. Once I get tired, I kind of relax and put the bike where it should be and ride better, faster, and with more flow. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I also really love this techie flow right here where you have to kind of navigate through these rocks to find the flow.
That's fun.
After a little regroup, we were right back into the dust trying to find the flow.
That might have been where I crashed.
This is a part of the trail where you can see that the trees burn, but it's so nice that we've got the green vegetation coming back strong. Madeira is like a side hit, side feature paradise. If you like to get playful on your bike, there are just so many endless opportunities here to do it.
Oh, we found the dust.
I would say that we get used to riding in the dust, but it's still gnarly. You still just have to be ready for whatever you might hit that you did not see when you get locked in one of these dust storms or dust clouds.
Woo! Spicy little spot right there. Yeah.
This part's exceptionally loose, especially when you're trying to keep up with people. And then we're going to come into a drop-off on the left here, which does not make me feel very comfortable going fast. And then we hit some chunks, some turns. It's just a whole thing right now.
Can't see. Oh, geez. Oh, man. We had that big drop yesterday, if you didn't see the video. Maybe like 6, 7, 8 feet, something like that. It was really cool, but totally got my ankle for sure. So now on these bumps, definitely feeling that.
About a year ago, we were in Eastern Washington and they have these huge pine cones. Well, I stepped out of the van right onto one and rolled the heck out of my ankle. It was some of the worst pain I've ever felt in my whole life. And it's still tender a year later when I'm riding trails like this and have big compressions.
Phew! Watch out for the tree. Last run of the day, I've got to mentally check in with myself a lot, keep it nice and slow, smooth. Oh geez, can't see. Woo! Yeah! Getting dusted out. Oh, this is that Rudy section. Nice. Woo! Oh geez, can't see where I'm going.
Not being able to see and these roots and loose conditions is not a fun combination.
Woo!
Ha! And now we're throwing in detrimental gap jumps. Sweet.
I couldn't see anything after that.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. Finishing up another rad day. Hopefully Jeremy heals himself up quickly.
Let's hope so.
Sending it too hard today.
Yeah.
Awesome
Too much
time.
fun.
Thank you, man.
Tomorrow we'll be on to our last day of riding in Madeira,
Some Madeira ice.
and it does not disappoint. We've got tons of drops, chunks, and jumps that are coming at us full speed. If you like these videos, please hit subscribe and have yourself a fantastic rest of your day.
Last day of riding with Radwall Madeira. We're getting going. Looks like we've got a private tour today.
Today we are riding 8 of Madeira's rowdiest trails.
Some Madeira ice.
The mud is super slippery.
Let's do it! But first, we coffee.
It looks so proper.
On our private tour today, we're headed over to the Middle East part of the island where we'll ride some blues, reds, and even blacks.
Bikes are ready. Woo! Yes.
Ride 1 is supposed to be the warm-up ride, but it's full of super slippery roots and Madeira ice. I guess the nice thing about these roots is they sure do get you warmed up fast.
Woo!
These roots are no joke. Fortunately, coming from the Pacific Northwest, we are not strangers to roots.
Let's pull the roots and you was not joking. Today we have just Emily and I on the tour. Jeremy decided to take the day off because his crashed yesterday. And no one else signed up. So just the two of us crushing it with Diogo. Whew, yeah.
Riding behind Diogo is super fun, but it's slippery out here, and this is his home turf.
Some Madeira ice.
Phew. Got a little bit of the old Madeira ice today, which we haven't had too much of yet. Means that the mud is super slippery.
So we've got slippery mud, slippery roots. Let's throw some rocks in there. You think they're slippery?
And let's hit the jump.
And then let's hit a sketchy jump. Why not? Alright, next up we're going to step up the game and head into a red trail for Estradas. Fast, flowy, still got the roots and the Madeira ice though. The truth is, as we make our way down in elevation, the soil does tend to dry up, so we have less Madeira ice to worry about, but there are still patches in here for sure. It can just be really hard to identify them in all these shadows. You can't tell if the shadows are a shadow, or Madeira ice, or just some super grippy dirt.
Ooh, fun.
Ready?
Let's go for it. Phew. Yeah, this is a downhill line that we did not ride the other day. It's supposed to be even more rooty and steep than what we rode last time. It was very rooty last time. Holy sh**. Yeah, this is great. Very cool. Whew. Nice. Looks like there's a bunch of different lines through here. Big rocks in the way. Yeah, good to go. Little loose in the corner. Foot doesn't want to stay on the old pellet.
This is one of those trails that was super fun and super challenging. You just want to go back and ride it all day long. I really hope that someday we get to come back here to re-ride this trail and ride it even faster.
Phew! That was really fun. Woo!
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Now we're headed onto a super fun and flowy green trail, which, as you've seen through here, you can push these trails as hard as you want to, and it just increases the difficulty. There are so many little fun side hits that you can hop off of, jump off of, jib off of, whatever you like to call it, drop off of, that just make it super fun. And you can push the speed so hard on these trails. There's just so much opportunity to get good at them and ride them faster and better time after time.
Woo!
This is a little sketchy transition trail, which just gets us to the next trail. It's got some baby heads and into this little fern gully. Then we drop into one of the favorite trails of the whole trip. It's got some fast corners, some cool jumps and things to pop off of, and they're not super straightforward. You have to have a little bit of skill and planning for them.
Phew! You good? Heard some branches breaking. I thought it was Emily breaking a fall.
That'll do it for ride 1. 4 miles, 1,600 feet of descending, a difficulty of 6 out of 10, and a 9 out of 10 fun. Those jumps, roots, flow that you had to find was so good.
Fun.
For ride 2, we're going to hit the first of a super sketchy series of trails, starting with Cambodia.
Guys, right in front of that. It's kind of sketchy part. I think it's not rollable. Let's go for it.
This may or may not be rollable, but it is definitely sketchy.
Ah, I see.
And the sketchiness just continues on this trail. It's great.
Hey!
I'm sure I sound like a broken record at this point, but oh my gosh, how much different are these trails than the ones we've been riding?
You. Yeah. All right. Whew.
I'm loving this extra tech that we're getting here. Little drops, rollers, sharp turns. It's all good to me.
Phew. Nice. That was a great trail. Really fun.
That's fun.
Yep. Ah.
And so it continues down this super gnarly chunk fest here, where we are so happy to have our 170mm bikes.
Woo!
Emily's on an Evil Reckoning with a GX build, and I'm on a Rebel Rail with an XT build.
That's mine. Woo! Treat. Oh, riding's so great. Yeah.
We could definitely ride these trails with less suspension, and we've seen people do it, but having at least 160mm fork makes these trails much more enjoyable. All right, let's rate this one up. Ride 2, 1.1 miles, 500 feet of descending, difficulty of 8.9. This trail was super chunky and so much fun. We loved it. 9 out of 10. Let's go ride some more.
Woo! Super fun.
Woo, that's fun.
Yeah, nice riding.
Ride 3 has taken us to the opposite side of the hill for a trail called Rat Boy, which is, again, super chunky and super fun.
So she cares your will.
I think it's okay. All right. Now on Emily Cam for our last bit of riding here in Madeira. This is Rat Boy. Getting into some steeper, more technical stuff today. And it's been super fun so far. It's just Joe and I and our guide Diogo today, so ride it to our slippery spots. Don't look that slippery, but they are.
Emily sounds super chill here, but don't let that fool you. This is really gnarly.
Cool rock roll. The guys are yelling at me.
I can't remember why we were yelling at her, probably telling her how gnarly it was. She didn't seem to care.
Let's do it.
All right, pretty big gap jump incoming after riding through this chunky section. It's not easy, and it's got a gap over a little creek.
I just bottomed out my rear shock. Yeah, all good. I
heard it.
Yeah, it was just my rear shock going.
I was looking back but I saw she cased and not crashed.
Yeah, I cased and not crashed. Yeah, because I lost my foot on the
Your wheel.
up. I think it's okay. I think it's good. Yeah, I think it just was my coil made the big noise, but everything here seems good.
We might need to get Emily a bigger coil for her rear shock. Thank goodness her wheel's okay, at least for now.
Case City up on these jumps right now.
On this trail, the gnarly just continues. Thank goodness they saved it for our very last day.
Woohoo! Hopefully you guys can tell just how cool these trails are. They are so fun, and there's so much variety. I mean, there's just a little bit of everything out here, depending on the day and side of the island you ride on, what the conditions are like. I mean, it's pretty freaking epic. We thought 9 days here would be a lot, and I think we could have spent many, many more days. It's just one of those places where it's super cool. Looking forward to coming back already.
It's quite sketchy. I don't understand very well these jumps. The jumps in Madeira, in general, they are very sketchy. I like to pull a bit. If you like jumping, maybe you can do this one.
I decided a 15 to 20 foot river gap was not a good idea on the last day.
Oh, I think maybe that was the end of the trail.
Another super fun one in the books. We had 1.2 miles, 500 feet of descending, a difficulty of 8 out of 10, and a 9.5 for fun. The only thing that would have made this more fun for me would have been having some steeper trails. So good.
All right, starting our fourth lap of the day. Hardest, most technical trail of the day.
After that last trail, it's hard to imagine what would be more technical, but we'll see.
Tight corners in here. My arch nemesis of the week. Cornering. Going to try make that a goal for the summer to improve cornering. I think at the end of the summer we're hopefully going to ride a lot more bike parks, which I think will be a great opportunity to get better at it. Something to look forward to. Whew. Almost washed out there a little bit. I think I'm going to need some new brakes here pretty soon. I'm using them a lot here.
We always bring 4 extra sets of pads with us on these trips. We burn through them.
You! Oh. Oh. Nice. Super cool. Hands are tired. Did not like that line that Joe just took. I did not like your line choice.
Oh, it's a good one. You just got the press.
Yeah.
I don't know about the most technical trail of the day. 1.2 miles, 800 feet of descent, difficulty of only a 6 and fun of only a 6. Maybe a little steeper, but not that technical. Ride 5 has the environment changing again, and we're going to hit up some flowy tech where we really try and push the pace, and that could be good or bad.
There's a crash pad on the tree, so it's let's go!
After lunch, have some nice chicken, sweet potatoes, delicious. It's really easy to eat here, which is awesome. Get a lot of protein, potatoes, rice. Need some more jumping practice.
Oh, it's gonna be different style. I'll do this.
Okay.
Going for the Las Vegas Trail.
I'm not sure why it's called Las Vegas. I don't see any casinos or desert.
Phew.
I actually just kicked my finger off of my front brake. I've never done that before. Interesting.
This trail doesn't look too bad, but it's a wicked combination of trying to chase down Diogo, having a little bit more chunk than you can see because of these shadows, and then also getting into the day after lunch.
Tried to do nose pivot like him, but I couldn't get the back end off the ground. I don't think I loaded enough. Jump. Almost got me.
Almost going off the trail right here. And then again right here. It's getting close. Having to brake really late, not making good decisions, trying to keep up with Diogo. And we're about to hit the steepest, spiciest line of the whole trip.
Just to have a quick look, guys, over here.
Checking out the lines.
I think it's quite rough. For me, the easiest line is also the one that looks quite scary. I like to pass really close to the tree.
Yeah.
Like this. Boom, 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 boom.
There's a crash pad on the tree, so it's
I'd like to thank the GoPro effect for this one. We ride a lot of steep trails, and this is the steepest trail of the whole trip, hands down. I could not stop right here, even if I wanted to. Nice crash pad.
Phew! Thank you. Very nice. Yeah, it's very fun. Steepest fun. Yeah. All good?
Now we traded steep for some super janky tech. This stuff is very rough, but also puts a smile on my face. I love it.
Yeah!
Is it drop?
Oh yeah!
Let's end it. Yeah.
There's nothing like a big drop in the woods followed by a super fast section. Heck yeah. Woo! These leaves are like a different form of Madeira ice. So slippery.
an alternate line to the leaves there.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That was so fun.
After a quick transition to another trail, we're gonna find that we have some more chunk and even some more slippery leaves. It's like we got a little teased and then the leaf just came back with full force. Fortunately, the leaves were short-lived and we're gonna wrap up this trail. Wrapping up ride 5, 1.3 miles, 1,000 feet of descending, a difficulty of 8 because of the steep and the drop, and a fun for the same reason. Those two features were awesome.
Yeah.
Nice throw.
Yes, very good.
Next up, we're going to tackle some reds and blues that have tons of chunk jumps, and I'm even going to need a new chain at the end.
Oh. Woo! Now let's go. Mushroom Trail. After lunch, I've had 2 espressos. I am ready to rock. Last trail was super, super fun. Nice big drop. Kind of redeemed myself after casing the other one. Oh, the dirt is good right here. You. Drop up ahead. Whew. That is what happens when I try and talk. Oh man, this is so cool.
This is like the day of gnarly chunk. We didn't expect this at all when we were coming to Madeira. It is super fun. You gotta hold on and you've gotta be ready for whatever is about to come at you next.
Telling Joe these trails are so awesome because I feel like they're challenging me. They're within my ability, so it's super cool because I feel like getting better, riding things that I consider hard, but you could just always make them more challenging by pushing the pace and different lines, new features. I'm just having so much fun here. It's so cool. Ooh, shady in here. It's a really dramatic light change. My eyes are like, wow, I can't see.
Now that we can't see, let's make it steeper and chunkier. Awesome.
Oop. I couldn't make that. I was supposed to stay high on that earlier route, and I missed it. Whew! Take your chain, Joe.
Let's go for it.
Let's go. Oh, it didn't last very long. Joe's riding chainless. Tried to do one pedal stroke and snap his chain, so we have an extra one in the van. It's just down the hill a little bit more. Woo! So he's got to practice his pumping here, and he can't ratchet with his pedals, so that's something different.
When I was inspecting my bike, I saw that the chain linkage had a potential weak spot and it could break, and was super happy that we actually did bring an extra chain with us. I just didn't know how long or when the chain would actually break, or if it would. This is kind of an interesting experience.
You butt hit my tire on that one. Leaned way back. Woo! Adventure trail time. Trying to see if we can get back to the road a little faster without more pedaling for Joe.
This turned out to be a little side game trail and might have decreased the pedaling by a few hundred meters, but we had to run and walk quite a bit at the end of this trail. That'll do it for Ride 6, 1.3 miles, 700 feet of descending, difficulty of 6, and a fun of 7. Not the best, not the worst, still a great time. Things are getting amplified on Ride 7, and we're going to have the chunkiest, fastest, loosest ride of the whole day.
Very rocky.
The beginning, there are some rocky parts.
Let's go!
Good.
It's really fun this road. Nothing compared to what we done today.
All right.
Diogo couldn't have been more accurate. This trail is fast, rocky, and absolutely nothing like what we've done so far today. I mean, no roots at all. The real question is, how will we adapt to these rocks? Will we hold on to the bars or send it off of the trail? We'll have to wait and see. This is super gnarly.
Oh, that's rocky. Yeah. I did get a new chain. Chain broke. Got a new one.
I'm trying to talk here, but it's just too gnarly. I need to concentrate.
Hopefully derailleur stays in one piece. It seems like maybe there's something going on with it, even though I cleaned it all up before we started the trip.
I completely rebuilt my Shimano XT derailleur before this trip, but you do never know. You could hit a rock or something could happen, find some gnarly mud, and it could destroy it.
Oh, this is cool.
Cool is an understatement. This is actually super scary, and I'm trying to find lines. It's very steep, and I'm trying to make sure that I make it in one piece down this trail.
Very rocky. Hit a pedal. Very rocky.
It's very physical. Also.
Yes, very physical.
Something that smart guides like Diogo do is they know when to take breaks. They read the group, they read the terrain, and they make the decision to take breaks so that you don't overwhelm yourself, you don't overexert yourself, and you're able to make it down the trail as safely as possible as a whole group. These rocks are exceptionally gnarly, and it is way steeper than you can tell on the GoPro.
Rocky, loose, physical, steep. Yeah.
And it's about to get more loose and more steep with steeper turns.
Woo! Put on that new chain and it feels like something weird is going on. It's just very rough. Maybe it was just in the wrong gear. It wanted to shift. Oh, I imagine it looks really pretty right here on the camera.
This is one of those times where I had no idea what it looked like when I was riding, but now that I'm editing, I get to see this view, and what the heck? This is unbelievable. This has to be one of the prettiest and coolest places to ride in the whole world. We're gonna keep testing that theory, but holy smokes, guys, check it out. And back to the Nar. No wonder that I had no recollection of what this actually looked like or the view.
Whew. Yep, very nice. Whee! Yeah.
Now Madeira does another one of its transformations, and we're into a totally different riding environment.
Follow the bug. You just fly right in as you're breathing. Sometimes you can't help it. Gosh, haven't given a thanks to CRP brakes lately for being so awesome. They are freaking awesome. So much control through here. Couldn't ask for more. Whew. Yeah. Whoa, very physical. Very nice. Woo!
I should also mention that TRP customer service is so good. They've helped me out in tons of situations and are super fast to respond to anything that I ask. Which is why when we're flying down trails like this, the TRP DHR Evos are our preferred brake by far.
Oh, the little jumps are over the canal. Okay.
These canals are called levadas, and we've found them all over the island, but this is by far the coolest way that we've ridden, well, over them.
Very cool. Like the canal jumps. Functional jumps. Jumps because you need to get over the canal.
As we're getting lower in elevation, you can see that the trail is smoothing out quite a bit. There's less rocks, less roots, and you're able to hold more flow with the exception of the occasional rock. Ride 7 was much longer than our earlier rides, 2.3 miles, 2,400 feet of descending, a difficulty of 8 because of the rocks and the steepness, and a fun of 9. We loved this trail.
Very nice. Very fun.
That was so fun.
That was good. You
That
like?
was so cool. Those little canal jumps were super fun having them.
After a short shuttle ride up the hill, we were on to ride 8, which is a red trail that is fast, flowy, and has some of the craziest views of the whole trip. I know, I keep saying that, but they just are so amazing. I mean, look at this. This is some narrow cut single track, and although it might look easy, it can be pretty hard to ride fast and keep the tires in the middle of these trails. So the concentration needs to be really amped up, and things just get gnarlier when they throw some rocks in there. So you're trying to concentrate on keeping yourself going straight, and then they throw in the chunk and you have to hold on extra tight.
I feel like I haven't ridden without following somebody for a while. Feels a bit different. Yeah.
That's fun.
It's fun. Yep.
On the last run, Diogo was off playing cameraman, trying to get us those sweet pics. But now I'm back to following him and following his lines, which makes riding on these trails so much easier.
So good.
Something that I'm absolutely trying to keep out of my mind while riding here is that it's the last ride of the day and the last ride of the trip. So you want to stay within your riding skills and not push it too hard and ride another day.
Nice rocky sections. Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Maybe give me your phone. I have a cool spot for a video.
And now I'm back to picking the lines by myself. Not a huge deal. This is a little bit rocky, mostly flowy, and it sure is awesome to have some of these videos that Diogo has taken. Check this out. You know, it's actually not terrible to have to pick your own lines, and I think it's really good for your brain. It feels completely different when you're riding behind someone versus picking your own lines, and I like to do it both ways.
Just dropped into the eucalyptus forest. It's very cool to ride in. Not sure coming through on the camera or not, but very cool. The camera died for some reason.
Ah, well, that's it.
Let's turn it back on though. It's trying to die. GoPro go. Not sure if it will.
We made it the whole trip with extra batteries, and on the last ride of the day, we forgot the extra GoPro battery.
You
Took me a
get,
minute to find my flow on that one, but then I got it.
you're going fast.
I'm trying. That was so fun.
Yeah, you're going really fast.
The last run of the day was 4.9 miles, a whopping 3,500 feet of descending, a difficulty of 6, and super fun, flowy at 8 out of 10.
All right, we finished up our riding day, last day in Madeira, packing up the bikes. We have, I guess it's not our last day in Madeira, last riding day. We have one more day tomorrow, but we're gonna be out doing some birthday adventuring. Woo woo! So packing up the bikes tonight, get them ready to fly on Sunday. So bye-bye bikes for a few days.
Oh boy!
Joe's having a mid-hike snack. We are finishing up our little over a week here in Madeira. We had an epic, super awesome 5 days of bike riding, which is mostly what we spent our time doing while we were here. Today was the only other day that we had to kind of like do something other than biking, and we chose to do a hike. We hiked the Pico de Ario to Pico Rivio or something like that. This island has been really, really fun. The biking was just world class. We had great guides.
Some Madeira eyes.
We had a really, really fun time. No big crashes, which is a great way to start this little 5-week Euro vacation.
Oh, shit. Oh, are you okay?
Every time. Yep. The food was good. The people were great.
Yes.
Super easy to navigate, get around. Lots of people spoke English, making it very, very easy for us.
Radwall Bike Company was super communicative and nice to work with, so I recommend them.
So we are going to finish up our day here, our final day. We have to fly out early tomorrow, and we're gonna eat some food, maybe swim in the ocean, get a quick workout in, finish up this hike. And then we are headed to Nice for a couple of days of hopefully relaxing. My hope was sunshine. Looks like it might be a little cloudy, so we'll see. It might just be full of pastries, so stay tuned if you want to see some good pastry content. Then we're gonna be on our way to more biking, so stay tuned for some more fun stuff coming up. And as always, if you like the video, hit the like button down below, please. It really helps out the channel. And if you really, really like it and you want to keep seeing what we get up to, which this year we have some really, really fun stuff planned that we hope you want to see and follow along with our journey.
Front brake, front brake.
Hit the subscribe button down below. And
Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day.
woo!